to the channel. My name's Kevin.
I'm Tarsha.
This is Conversations with the Crawleys. We have conversations about faith, family, relationships, and we do recaps, reviews, and commentaries on some of our favorite shows. This one is all about Ready to Love, Miami style. So if this is content that you enjoy, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe, hit the like, request notifications,
and share.
And we'll see you in the comments. And of course, consider becoming a member because membership has its privileges. You can join right here with the join button. All right.
Right here?
I think it's right here.
Right here?
Somewhere in here.
Right here.
All right.
Okay.
Y'all figure it out. You see, join. All right. So, y'all know we like to have a little fun here.
Oh.
You all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to get my sinuses.
Yeah. So we didn't do some more other videos. We probably do something else. We'll have an announcement coming about that. But jumping into Ready to Love. So the fellas are at the Gentleman's Lounge hanging out with Tommy. And Tommy's like, all right, this week your assignment, introduce the ladies to your truth teller. Mm-hmm. In other words, the person in your life who's going to be honest, who's going to be upfront, who's going to say, nah, bruh, that's not the right one, or yeah, she's a keeper.
Right.
So identify who that is, set up that date, let them see. All right. So Randall brings Brittany, his ex, and they meet with Jamala, Trinika, and Kayla. Now, first of all, it looks like Randall found some clothes. He didn't come with his Southeast DC workout gear on. And one of the comments, I'm gonna put it up. One of the comments said that they don't get the all the fuss and all the hubbub about Randall.
It's not about his looks.
Okay.
When all the women talk about him, they talk about him being just very calming, very collective, just the way he has a really good conversation.
Okay.
So for Randall, his attraction is more mental, I believe, than into anything.
Okay. He doesn't. I'm just saying he doesn't strike me as a mental.
Well, when I'm saying that, he just knows how to talk to women.
Okay.
That he knows how to have a conversation.
Gotcha.
He knows how to stay engaged. So when I'm talking mentally, I'm not talking about just intellectually,
yeah.
I'm just talking about just being able to have a good conversation, be able to talk about, who you are as an individual, engage the other person, pull out of them different things. Those are things that women look for. So he's not ugly, but he could just shape up a little bit and different stuff like that. No, I'm just saying, only thing needs to be cleaned up a little bit. He's a personal trainer.
Stop shopping at the boys section.
Listen, he dresses for his lifestyle.
Okay. So anyway, the ladies are all there. Jamala's like, I'm not in competition. She's like, I got this. Mm-hmm. She's like, I'm not doing it. And as the ladies are coming in, Randall starts pulling out chairs, and the ex is like, oh, we pulling out chairs now? Is that have we had that growth?
Yeah, I was like shocked. That's what she mentioned. So I guess he decided he wanted to step up his game.
He wanted to grow up a little. All right. So she does say that they dated for about 2 years back in like 2014. And then she started saying the Marvin Sapp, never should have dated. I know I was off key with that, but
yeah, that was low.
That was low key. All right, but they never should have dated is what she said. Right.
And I'm assuming that they should have just they were friends previously, decided to go romantic, and then it turned out it didn't work out.
Right.
But looks like they were able to keep the friendship.
At least keep the friendship, right? She does ask about the goals. Kayla talks about how she's an entrepreneur. She wants someone that kind of fits in her lifestyle, and they kind of conquer the world together. Jamala talks about, a resource, a friend, and Trinika's like, okay, and we didn't hear anything from Trinika as far as the goals.
I don't recall anything that stood out. Maybe the way they cut the film, they didn't touch on her.
But then she does. Randall's ex does ask about, okay, what are the flaws? Because she like, don't come here talking about this man perfect. Don't come up in this restaurant talking about, oh, he's everything.
Then I would have still been with him.
Like,
we wouldn't be even sitting around this table.
Right.
So
Tranika does talk about his communication flaws, right? That he's not very clear sometimes, and he's not open up. Mm-hmm. Kayla kind of echoes that. It's like, okay, he needs to open up. Mm-hmm. And Jamala talks about, setting the expectations as far as where they are, what's going on with them, what have you. So it was, again.
Sounds like a typical man thing.
You just said typical man thing. Okay. Okay, I get that.
Just saying. That's pretty typical. They didn't say anything really outrageous or what their deal breaker was.
Right. So Kayla walks away feeling very confident. She's like, I got this. She's like, I'm golden here. And there was, I know in the comments, there was also someone that thought maybe Kayla had messed up all of her opportunities, but it looks like at least there's still that connection with Randall. And we'll talk about it in a moment, a connection with Mike, but we'll see exactly how all that plays out. But when Randall's ex starts, critiquing and saying, this is where I see things, she's like, there's a soft energy with Kayla, and she's definitely into you, or at least giving you that attention, giving you that focus. She's like, Tranika, don't see where she's actually at. I don't know if we got the true Tranika.
Because we talked about Tranika before.
Yeah, that she does. And so, what we kind of said was that she does a great job of flirting, but there's no understanding where she might actually be with that person, right?
I would say just going deeper.
Yeah.
I hear them asking the men to go deeper, but even though men don't ask women to go deep, because we know we just automatically, I don't see a lot of depth coming from her conversations.
Gotcha. And then Jamala, she says Jamala was answering questions about Randall and not about herself. So she's like, yeah, that's kind of a not necessarily a red flag, but it's kind of like, it's a caution tape, right?
She called it a red flag.
She did? Okay.
She's like, my red flag with her is, and she's like, you don't want someone that's just solely into you.
Yeah.
I hear that, but I feel like maybe she should say balance.
And I think that's, because you want someone that is into you, right? But you want someone that can also stand on their own 2 feet.
And do whatever they're doing.
And Kayla communicated that well, I think.
She did.
In that conversation. Jamala, not so much.
Well, Kayla talked about what she wanted from Randall.
Yes.
And then Jamala talked about what she's going to give to Randall. Because I thought that was the question. How are you going to be there for Randall? Okay. So maybe they were answering two different questions.
It's possible. Again, editing, we'll see when we have interviews. We'll see kind of how that goes. All right. So the ex, of course, is like, yeah, Kayla's your best option.
And he was like, I was kind of like surprised about, he looked a little disappointed.
Yeah. Like somebody stole his cake. He was
like oh, man. So, where is she in the pack? Is she in the middle or is she at the bottom? I think he's really feeling Jamala. Right. And she's in the lead because, again, he reminds him of his mother, So there is these connection that he made with her. Mm-hmm. I just don't feel like, and maybe that's because at first Kayla was kind of a little still backing off because she has Mike there. True. So maybe that's some of that. I guess as we go a little further, we'll see.
Again, I think the thing that may be for Kayla, just what I'm picking up, is that maybe there is a confidence, because again, she handles her femininity, her womanhood a little differently than some of the other ladies, mm-hmm. right? She does come across, in my opinion, as more confident in who she is. Not saying that everybody else is insecure, but I think that she walks with a little more certainty, if I can put it that way. Okay. I don't know. Okay. That which is almost like, I could use you, but I don't need you. Mm-hmm. I want you, but I don't have to have you type of energy. Whereas some of the others are giving the, I need you in my life type energy. I think that may be the thing that may be the differentiator between Jamala and Kayla as it relates to Randall. Just my thoughts. All right. So then on the other side of town, Mike meets up with one of his family friends, and they're meeting with Kayla and with Brandy. And Kayla comes in, and Mike starts blah, 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 blah. He starts fumbling. He starts getting real nervous about her as far as being speechless, right? Mm-hmm. And the friend is like, y'all kind of, she's like, I think it's kind of cute. Y'all kind of both speechless. But Kayla says that they're speechless because they're both kind of guarded. Mm. And for Kayla, I think it's because she knows that there is a Brandy hanging around for Mike. And so she's like, I'm not going to open up too much when you got this other woman who you keep pointing to as your number one, and that kind of everybody thinks that y'all are already married, as it were. But the friend is like, because Brandy's not there yet. The friend is like, I love the way y'all giving each other I like the way y'all looking at each other. And then Brandy shows up. And Mike really gets nervous. Leg is jittering under the table. And the friend notices. The friend is like, okay, maybe this is the one. Brandy shows up and she's like, in her little aside, she says that she feels that she's higher up on the list, but she needs Mike to let her know exactly where she sits.
Which makes sense, right? It's more like, and that's what we're trying to figure out between Mike and Kayla. Like, why is he speechless? Does he feel like she's on his level or not on his level? You know, like, where is he where he feels about her? Why does she make her nervous?
Right.
You know, is it just that this, I don't know, like just this crush he has on her? But when I see him or the interaction with Brandy, he's like, oh, that could be my girl. Right. So I don't understand why he feels like one person is out of his reach, if that makes sense. And then one person, he's like, oh, only thing I have to do is smile, she'll come over. And I think men do that when they feel insecure about certain women because the way they handle themselves. Yeah. And so if he's not used to a woman that's going to be secure, I don't know when he was married, how his wife was, that she's, my understanding, she wants to be a full-time entrepreneur. Kayla does. He already owns a business. So can he be a good match for someone that also is an entrepreneur, who's also going to be being the breadwinner? So interesting.
Yeah, because, it definitely is a different energy between the two of them.
Oh, yeah. And how he talks to her and how he talks to Brandy.
Yeah, because he did say, I think in a previous episode, he called her like his video vixen fantasy or whatever. So, yeah, it is. I think that just what we see, it's almost as if Kayla is she's out of my league, but if I can get her, I would definitely like to be with her. But Brandy is the realistic that, this is where I'm more at. This is kind of my level, if you will. And not saying that one's higher level than the other. I think they're just different ladies, right?
They're just different ladies.
But I think that in his mind, that's kind of almost how he's approaching it.
Right.
He's approaching it that Kayla is the one that I'm not sure if I can have. So therefore, I'm kind of speechless. I'm kind of in awe of her.
And is that why he keep mentioning the other guys when it comes to Kayla? Because I don't see a lot of the guys mentioning Brandy in the conversations. So, because he's like, all these men have been kissing on your lips. So it's just, so when he makes those references, it's like,
he ain't say nothing about when Samson found the lips of Brandy either, but that was a sneak one. Not a sneak one. It was
supposed to be, my understanding, an accident.
It was an accident, yeah. But yeah, because I think, but the other guys also are looking at Brandy as, because she was so from the beginning with Mike. I think Samson is at least exploring it, but I think in many respects, the other guys have been like, that's Mike's girl. Because again, that's the challenge when you're on this show, is that if you get locked up really quick,
and connect,
it cuts off your other options very quickly.
And she mentions it again when it's just the two of them with the family friend. Like, this is my man.
Yeah, she's like, they feel that they've known each other forever. And that she, the other thing was about kids, because this is the common thing, or the continued thing that we see with Mike, is this conversation about kids, because I don't think Mike wants to have additional kids.
He came across that way originally when the season started. All these young women don't have kids and want to have kids. And it's interesting that Brandy, because Brandy's in her early 30s.
I think she's like 35 or so, mid-30s, yeah.
Yeah, all this time she's not dating men that had children. You are 35 years old. So you are really taking a big chunk of men out.
Of the picture, yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of them have already been married or have kids. Shoot, you can't even date a 20-year-old. Some have kids. So, looking at that, yeah, when her making the statements like, you know what, I had to reconsider Mike because he has children, and accepting that.
Yes.
And it doesn't look like he has them full time.
Right.
So, obviously, you just being that bonus mom.
Yeah. Because Kayla does also mention that she was kind of not leaning towards that either, because she had, I guess, a bad experience with someone that had baby mama drama, right? But she's like, she thinks that Mike has it all figured out, that it doesn't seem to be an issue for him. And so that's why she's like, okay, she's open to Mike. So the friend definitely is like, I see that you're attracted to both. The friend doesn't necessarily give her opinion. She's kind of like, you have a different nervousness, like we talked about, a different nervousness, a different feeling around Brandy that you don't have with Kayla. But she's like, I can see how you like them both. And so you got to make some decisions. You got to figure out, put your big boy pants on and figure it out.
Yeah, but I think even mentioning the different nervousness with them kind of gives how he feels a little more deeper for one than the other.
Very much.
But he does need to come to terms, because a man can like a lot of different women. Have attraction.
True.
So you have to go beyond what's your attraction at this point.
Yeah.
And say, okay, who could I see myself in a long-term relationship?
Yeah.
Because the family friend talks about, you're laughing. You seem a little bit unguarded with Brandy when you're more guarded with Kayla. So to me, those are all great descriptions of maybe the person he does need to be with.
True. All right. So Samson goes out, and his ex flies in, I think from Brazil or Costa Rica, wherever she was from.
Well, they didn't indicate
Where
how far she came from, but supposedly she flew in to see him. I was like, oh, okay. Not that she just happened to be in town.
Right. Shareese, Looney, and Brandy are the ones that Samson is like, I want you to meet my ex and have her give me feedback. So, the friend starts off by asking, okay, who really sees themselves fitting in with Samson? And Shareese is like, pick me. Hey, me. I'm the one. And so, she says that he's a match for her, that she's willing to fight for him. And Looney like, I don't know about all that. She like, he cool and all, but I need a man to fight for to tell me he wants me. I'm not fighting for any dude.
And I understand both perspectives, right? They're here because they're saying they're ready for love and they want to meet someone. And Shareese feeling like she's finally found someone, connection, someone that would be totally interested in her, coming from same backgrounds and lifestyle, that he would be a good fit for her. So I don't blame her for raising her hand. She put it out there the way she wanted to communicate that. I don't think Looney has been able to really connect with anyone on a deep level.
No.
And maybe being gone.
Because she was gone for the first week or two.
Right. Challenged that some. And now she's trying to catch up, but she's just not getting any good connections.
Yeah.
And Brandy was like kind of out there in the island like, look, he said he was interested in me. I like the aspect that she's keeping her options open.
Right.
And I understand Brandy's point of view is like, Samson, I know you smooth, man. I know you know how to give the gifts. But what I'm saying about this gift giving is that sometimes a lady wants to feel special and she's the only one getting the gift. So if a woman's looking at, okay, where am I stacking up? Well, I can't look at the gift giving because everyone's getting the gift. So how do I know where I stand is what my impression Brandy is saying in that moment.
I get what she's saying. I'm going to stand up for Samson though in this moment.
Oh, you need to stand up for him? Why?
I'm going to sit down for Sam.
You got to stand up.
I got his back on this one. Because, listen, let me...
Does he need someone to have his back? I'm just making a point.
Y'all see what I deal with. Anyway.
He shouldn't have to be upset that she mentions it.
He doesn't have to be upset, but I think that it may be, in my opinion, it's an unfair point of contention that she's bringing up. Because, one, y'all are dating everybody, right? So he at least it's not like he brought everybody the same yellow rose. It's not like he brought everybody the same Connect 4 game, right? He thought, this is this person, I'm going to bring a gift that is for this person. So in that moment, he's saying, I identify you as a unique person as I'm trying to get to know you. Now, yes, if you find out 6 months later that he's given the same gifts to 15 other women, that's a different story. But we're talking about an 8-week, 10-week, whatever process it is that you're dating multiple people. I think the fact that he's bringing a gift is his way of saying, I'm at least acknowledging the difference in you and the uniqueness of you as I'm trying to get to know you in this process.
Yeah, but we're in a process, right? And just as I indicated, trying to figure out where do I stand. You brought everyone a unique gift, so there's no, what do you call it, differentiator?
So how is that different than where am I at? Am I your number one? Am I your number two? How is that different?
It's not.
Okay, so we've criticized that before when they've gotten into...
Exactly.
So why are now with Brandy saying the same thing just regarding gifts? I'm saying the same energy as far as...
I'm saying exactly. So when someone has this contention of something, this is the reason why it is. That's all I'm mentioning.
So are you saying that Brandy's argument is not making sense? Or?
Oh, I'm not saying it's making sense.
Okay.
I'm just trying to give it more clarity of this is why she's going this direction. She's trying to say, hey, I want to know where I stand, because in this process, everybody's trying to figure out where they stand as far as being number one, number two. Mm-hmm. Should I keep going for the person that I know I want? Within the back of their head, they might be thinking about somebody else. Who should I be thinking about? Because they're not dating one person. So if she's saying, look, I'm dating Mike, but yet Mike got Kayla. And if I decide that I want Mike, but Mike don't want me, but I'm trying to stay in the process, are you the one that's going to be picking me? Because I'm trying to figure out. So that's the only thing I'm mentioning.
Okay.
I'm mentioning it because it shows up in different forms.
Okay.
So, but he should be looking at it from her perspective too. Like, granted, I get what you're saying. I am trying to be unique. I'm trying to focus on you while I'm dating you in the moment.
Right.
But also he has to remember there's women that are talking when they get a gift.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're saying the same thing, just different words, different thoughts.
That's normally how it happens in a marriage when you're in a relationship.
All right, so the ex does say that Samson is a process. She's like, look, you got to figure this man out. It's a process. Looney does say that she loves the consistency of Samson, but he needs to go deeper, that he needs to have a little more depth to him. And they all say that he kind of needs to work through communication issues. Who is, I think, I'm sorry. Yeah, he needs to, I'm sorry. That's not
communicate.
Him. Yeah, communicate, basically. Now
no,
he
I'm telling
does.
You to communicate.
I'm trying. It's okay. y'all know we do this one take. So, he does, as they're leaving, he does kiss Shareese on the lips. Didn't look like it was an accident. Looked like it was direct on. The ex, though, looks at all of the ladies and is like, yeah, Shareese is your best option.
And I get what the ex is saying. Like, I don't, like when Brandy came in the picture, I was like, really? Oh, okay. And then this is the first time I'm seeing Looney. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So, granted, he is trying to just keep his options open. But so far, Shareese has been his best option.
And in some respects, because Brandy came late, as far as what we're seeing, right? She came a little late to the party. Looney, I can't remember if we've seen a date from them or before. Okay. So, yeah, Looney was a little surprising. Brandy, I'd like to see more of the interaction between the two of them.
Yeah, because they only had one day prior to that.
Right. And so in some respects, his only option that we've seen as far as consistent has been Shareese. And likewise, we know that that's her only option because I don't think any of the other guys are feeling her.
No.
At all.
They're not.
Mike is like, that ain't it.
No.
So for Samson, it may be the best choice of the choice that he has. Right?
Yeah.
So, all right. So then Swayze meets up with his boy Ish. That's his name, Ish. And they meet with Kadian. And Swayze's a little upset because he's like, I'm a little ticked off that she didn't stand up for me or stick up for me when her girl was drilling me about dating outside of the race, right? How do you feel about that?
How I feel about what?
About what he said, as far as her not standing up for him.
I wasn't going to expect her to stand up for him. They've always had contention. And I feel like he thrives on that when they have these little tiffs. So I don't know what he's surprised about. She came in there to hold the gun for her friend, to put him at gunpoint to find out if he liked her. Pretty much, she gave her girlfriend all the ammunition to throw everything at him. So he don't even know her still for him to say, like, I thought she was going to have my back. No, she wanted to get under your skin, see what was going to come out, and she got what she paid for. Now, they haven't talked since then, so I don't know if she's tried to reach out and he didn't want to hear it or something. So I would have rather him say, I wish she would have reached out afterward and apologized for her behavior after it happened, instead of thinking that she was going to have it back. But it is what it is. I mean, he knows what he's getting. She's not holding back who she is at all. So she is
authentic. She is authentically her.
Yes,
she's authentically her. The other thing, and yes, we do know that they are, as far as these Instagram streets, they are together. She's posting him, their dates and everything. So it seems as if they do make a connection that exists outside or after the show. I'm curious, though, how OWN is taking that. I'm curious how the producers are taking that, because I thought that they wanted to try and keep things, at least until the person exited the show, they were trying to keep things as far as not spoilers, if you will. So interesting how that plays out. Kadian, if you see this one, let us know. And we'd definitely love to do an interview. And so she does say, as she's coming into the date, that she hopes that he doesn't do her like she did him.
And that's what I'm saying. She knew she set him up.
She says, like, he thinks that she did her.
Okay.
That she qualified it. Like,
okay.
She's not saying I did him that way.
Okay.
But she's like, I don't want him to do to me what he thinks I did to him.
Right.
For them, they definitely need to work through their communications issues.
Right. And she mentions that.
But then Swayze is also like, I don't like the way she, when we're having conversations, the way she like rolls her eyes and not, shakes her head. He's like, that doesn't bode well. And I think that that's something to pay attention to, of course, in communication, that your body language speaks too.
It does.
Right.
And he mentioned it to her before.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully she's taking, what he's saying and really applying it.
Yeah.
Because when you are interested in someone, you do want to find someone that you're compatible with. But again, I think he likes it.
Mm-hmm.
Because most men, if they're not into that, they wouldn't stick around for it.
Yep. So now let's talk about LJ.
So who does LJ bring?
So first of all, let me just, before we get into LJ, bruh. I'm not going to call you a dummy, but you did a dummy move. It was not. So LJ brings his ex, Lauren, to meet with Trinika and Looney. Mm-hmm. Okay. So 2 ladies that he's been having some connections with. Mm-hmm. I thought he had a better connection with Looney than maybe Trinika, but he had a good connection with both of them, right? Mm-hmm. So they're talking. Trinika's arrived first.
Mm-hmm. She said, "Hey,
hey, how you doing? Who are you? Okay, you're the ex. Okay, cool.
How long ago?
Well, we ended dating earlier this year. Okay, y'all still having sex? Well, last month. You mean 2 days ago?
Right, 2 days ago.
So they were together for less than a year, right? And as far as the ex, right? Him with the ex, they still having intimate relations periodically. So it was recently as the previous month of the filming. And then Looney comes in.
And Tanika said, hold on, before you even get warm in that seat, girl.
In fact, go ahead. You got your drink ordered? Okay, cool. You sip on it a little. All right, here's what's happening.
Yeah, they just got out of a relationship. And they're still having sex. It looks like, what? So pretty much you got the call from Ready to Love, so you broke up with your ex so you could be on the show? Like, where are we?
In other words, is that who you went home to after the mixer? I mean,
that was last month. The mixer was last month.
Right. Was this, you was leaving the white party to go there? I mean, what was it? Did she drop you off after, at the white party?
Oh my God, this is crazy.
So
that's why LJ was taking down them margaritas like it was wine coolers.
So, because then the ladies ask, okay, so
are you still in love? Like, and the girl like, yeah. Like, she's here to break up stuff. This chick is here to break stuff up. She's not here to help you see which one of these. She's trying to see who her competition is so she can get back in. This chick is there to break stuff up.
LJ, you're on Ready to Love Miami, not Love and Hip Hop Miami.
Shut up. Shut up.
Because it's like, why bring her?
I was like, I would rather have seen someone, maybe he was in a longer term relationship, maybe his baby mama, someone that could really say, I know him, we've dated for a long period of time, I've seen ups and downs.
Right.
And says, even though we're not together, I have your best interest at heart. That's why the truth teller is.
Yes.
The truth teller is saying, I have your best interest
at heart. Now, he brought a truth teller, though, because she did tell some truth.
Oh, she didn't lie about nothing. If he was thinking, oh, you just want someone who's going to be honest and tell you what's on their mind, that's what he was thinking to bring. But what he wasn't understanding is the truth teller has your back, your best interest at heart. So when they tell you the truth, they're here to support and help you.
Right.
Not to bring to your demise. You about to have no women.
Because I'm sure that'll be a topic of conversation in the next Ladies Lounge, right? Because...
because they go to the retreat.
The retreat, yeah.
They're supposed to...
So, because, even LJ is like, never say never. Dude, you giving the wrong answers yourself.
Right. Well, because he's trying to keep so many open doors. Some of these doors got to close.
Right.
And if she's your ex, that door should have been closed.
And even Tommy's like, there's an ex for a reason, right? Don't forget.
Even Tommy like, dude, That's why they're your ex, right? And you're like, yeah, some men would be afraid to bring their ex. I'm not telling you to be afraid.
Samson brought his ex, but not his 2 week ago ex.
Like, come on.
So
you don't bring the in between girl.
Yeah, because even if we're talking earlier this year, now of course it's September. However, this was filming much earlier in the year,
Probably like around June or something, maybe.
I think they were actually filming around April and May.
Oh, April and May.
Yeah, because I think that's when I remember seeing it. So therefore, them breaking up earlier in the year, unless they broke up on January 1st.
That's what I'm saying. And now she's the in-between girl. While I'm in between relationships, you keeping me regulated.
She the friend with benefits right now.
So, and you don't bring the friend with benefits. You bring someone, again.
Yeah.
You were in a long-term relationship, but now you're friends. Because even in the past, this is not the first time they've done this.
Mm-mm.
And people have asked, are you guys still having sex? And they could clearly say no.
Yeah.
We're not having sex, we're friends. But sex is not involved.
Yep. So then LJ sets up, I wouldn't call it a date.
No, he went to go hang out.
He went to hang out
I think he need to clear his head. He's like, I need somebody who gonna just be my friend.
So he went to hang out with Shareese, Mike, and Kadian, and none of them get along as far as dating or romance or whatever.
No.
Shareese is like, she didn't always get along with Kadian, but she's letting it go. Mm-hmm. That's what she said at the beginning, in her little side part. They kind of tease Mike and start asking Mike about the whole Kayla calling him to stand up at their group dinner.
Like what was that?
And then Mike is like, and then Kadian just keeps asking questions. Mike is like, you ask a question, but you don't let nobody answer it. And then you answer the question and then ask another question. He's like, why you do that? So Shareese is like, well, she aggressive. Kadian's like, okay, hold up. I didn't come here to make friends. And Shareese is put off because she doesn't want to be her friend.
Right. But at the same time, Shareese's like, I got receipts. You text me saying that if anything don't work out, that thankfully I got a friend out of this.
And Katie is like, I'm playing the game, boo. Relax.
And she was like, I knew you were fake. I knew it. I knew you were fake. I was like, okay. Like,
you arguing over the fact the girl don't want to be your friend. It's okay. It's okay. This isn't third grade where I need you to be my friend so we can have a place to sit at the lunch table.
And you're out in public.
Right.
I don't know, for me, especially if you're like, I'm letting it go. Someone has to be the mature person here. And if I ask you, I was like, okay, what do you mean by, granted, no one came here to make friends.
Right.
They came here to find love. But also, I can see how it's easy to create relationships because everyone's going through this experience together. Mm-hmm. So as women, you want to empower and uplift each other.
Right.
Granted. But when you tell me what you said is fake or whatever you wrote, I'm like, all right, gotcha. Now everything I was thinking was true. Thank you for letting me know.
Right.
And moving on.
Right.
But what do you want her to say? Yeah, I am fake. Yeah. I mean, what do you get out of, keep poking? It's like you don't get anything from it. There's no resolution to that.
Here's why in the battle, if you will, between Katie and
I don't think
Shareese,
even LJ set this up. Producers set this up.
It's possible. But what I appreciate about Katie was like, okay, say what you're saying. I'm aggressive. Rawr. Rawr. Like, okay, whatever you got to say, cool.
So they keep drinking. And then they're like, all right, ladies.
And Mike is like, oh, goodness, Lord, have mercy.
Ladies. Like, why am I wasting
But in my opinion, this is something we saw, in my opinion, as I'm looking at this, from Shareese. Shareese has a way of trying to make the others ladies look bad in whatever way, shape, or form she can. That's something that she did. Now, there's two parts to play in this.
Yeah, because
but
I don't think she made her look bad.
I think she made it a point to point out about Kadian so that she could, to the other guys, say she's fake. I knew you can't trust anything that she says, because that's the same energy she's had with the other ladies before from other episodes.
You may say she want to point it out, but she doesn't need to point it out to any of those guys. She's not interested in any of those men. So pointing it out to them, to me, doesn't gain anything for her, in a sense.
It may not, but if that's your MO, if that's the way you operate, no matter what, that's what you're going to do. So I don't necessarily have the highest opinion of Shareese, so maybe that's coloring some of it, but I think it's that y'all let us know in the comments. Listen, and if you're a member, you have the Team Kevin, Team Tarsha emojis. You can put in the comments whether you're Team Kevin or Team Tarsha on this.
As long as you join, that's the only way you get them emojis.
Like I said, if you're a member, right?
So, but I'm like this. They both had a part to play.
True.
They both indicated what they were doing. Now, why would you continue to egg that on when she told you that? I don't know. It's all about her, and why wouldn't you like me? I think, why don't we look at it this perspective? If you think so highly of yourself, why wouldn't you like me? Why wouldn't you want to be my friend? Now, granted, everybody should know, everybody is not going to like you. But some people...
You learned that in like second grade.
Well, some people it takes longer.
At least by high school you learn that.
So that's the impression I get, is that she feels like everyone should like her. And everyone's not going to like her. And yes, sometimes when people say something, they don't mean it. And Katie has been true to herself, who she is, and how she operates. So for you to get upset when you knew when she texted it wasn't going to be true, then why are you acting surprised and supposedly hurt, maybe, that she doesn't like you? And that's how you come across that? And then all Katie can say is like, fine then. You want to paint me that way? Hey, here it is. I'm here for love.
Yep.
That's what I'm here for.
In fact, Kadian commented on the video that we did on Kadian, whether she was messy or just misunderstood. And one of the things that she said in the comments was that she kind of realized that production was kind of leading as far as her depiction that way. So she's like, I'm going to lean into it. Right? So... so yes, we do know we've done this enough. We've had enough conversations. We do know that production kind of does shape the narrative, if you will,
about how they cut it,
how they edit it. Granted, they're working with actual film, so it's not like they're making up things.
Right.
But how they cut and edit brings out and highlights things differently than what may be actually happening. So.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. And some people don't want to have that narrative, but you don't want to change who you are because you don't know how they're going to cut the film, right? True. So you want to stay true to yourself. So, granted, she's staying true to herself.
Yep, she is authentically Kadian.
And Shareese is like, it changes. Well, I'm going to...
Are you saying she's fake?
I'm saying it changes.
She's fake.
One moment, she's like, well, I can be her friend. Even though you're saying in the back of your head all this contention you have against her. And then Shareese tells you the truth, then it becomes even worse in your mind, like, oh, then it is true, you know? So, but you just have to say, it's okay to disagree. I don't like you. You don't like me. And guess what? We're still on the show.
Yep.
Just keep it cool. Casual.
Keep it moving. All right, so the fellows show up at the men's lounge, and Tommy's like, all right, tell me about these dates. And they start recapping dates. LJ recaps his and says the ladies express a concern. Tommy's essentially like, yeah, boy, of course they would. You the dummy that brought your ex of 2 days ago, or 48 hours ago. Everybody else recaps their dates. Swayze talks about he's still having a hard time with Kadian's facial expressions when they're having conversation. So then, of course, it's a question of, okay, who are you not feeling? Who are you not connecting with? Samson's like, there's just nothing there with Jamala. He's like, tried, doesn't seem to be connection there. Mike is like, Shareese, don't see nothing with her. LJ says he's not really connecting with Looney. Mike also says he's not connecting with Looney. Now, initially, if I can be honest, I thought it was going to come down to, because of the blow up, I thought it was going to come down to Kadian and Shareese. But then as they started going through this, I'm like, oh, we see who's about to get set up. Randall's like, I'm not really feeling Looney. That's a connection that he doesn't really have. Swayze says that Kayla, he calls her a one-upper. In other words, he's like, you know, I went to the gym and I did 5 push-ups. And Kayla's the type of person says, well, I did 6. She's a one-upper. Mike is like, also, I'm not feeling Trinika. And Samson's like, yeah, Trinika's a great person, but I'm not feeling her either. So we're coming down to, okay, who do we have showing up on these dates? Because y'all know, and they know by this time, they know it, because of when the lounge is for the ladies and the guys, they know if they get called on a date, they know what this is all about.
Yeah, that potentially they could be going home.
So Mike goes on his date with Trinika, and Trinika's like, I'm ticked. I don't like this. I know what this is all about. And then Samson also does the same thing with Looney, and Looney is like, I kind of know what this is about. Let's see what this is.
Right. But she's like, let's eat. Let me
Yeah,
order.
she's like,
come on, go ahead, bring menus.
like,
Because
we're
I'm
gonna
going to
make
go
a thing
ahead
out
and
of
make the
this.
spread.
Trinika's like, her energy is like, look, cut the garbage.
I don't need to eat. We don't need to get any wine, drinks. Just tell me so I can walk out quickly. So Mike was like, can we chill?
Can we talk?
This is
Can we talk for a minute?
Oh, that's where you were going with that?
Oh, goodness. Y'all ain't liking none of my song choices today.
No. It's not the song choice. It's like, at least start out right. So, again,
listen.
you know where you're coming from.
Listen, okay, sorry. I didn't have my perfect pitch this morning.
You didn't warm up.
I didn't warm up at all. Okay.
So, but anywho, so Mike was like, can we chill? And kind of like, I got to say what I need to say and get this out. And she's like, nah, just go ahead and say it. So he's like, okay.
Yeah. So essentially, she's still in the process. Trinika is still in the process. Looney.
Oh, she get happy after that.
Yeah, she was like, okay, cool. And then Mike picks her up. Mike is like,
no. He hugs her. She jumps on him.
Okay.
And puts her legs around him. Let's
yes.
play it the way it was.
Yes.
The tape went.
Yes.
He didn't pick her up.
And Mike did not deny her.
No, he did not.
Mike was like, maybe.
Let me help you get down. Let me help you get down. All that backside back there, we don't want to make you fall to the ground. So I'm gonna help you down slowly.
Mike was like, look, if it don't work out with Brandy, if it don't work out with Kayla, maybe, possibly. All right. So then Samson again with Looney. Basically, he's like, look, great person, great personality. You're joyful. You're all of that. But the fellas don't think that you're ready to love. Any of the guys that are there, he's like, you possibly are ready to love, just not anyone here. Right. And I think that's valid. I think her best choice or her best option as far as what she indicated for her was justice. Right. And so therefore, when he was gone, that left her, at least from her perspective, correct, did not seem to have anybody else that she was having a great choice with. Yeah. So next week, of course, is the getaway trip, which always seems to have surprises as far as relationships. Yep. But then also there's going to be, now you have your main connection. You see in real time, in real life, what's going on with them and other people. So it could shift some things. So we're here for it. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And we'll see you next time. Have a great one. Be blessed.
Bye.